Namaste. Hello and welcome to this Friday practice. Today it's going to be a bit different than usual. It's not a traditional yoga class per se. It's more a mobility class. I was announcing it's going to be challenging and fun. So we are going to practice different ways of standing up from the floor, from sitting to standing without using our hands. And we will make it fun. So different ways how you can stand up from cross-legged, from sitting on your knees to standing. It's a quite nice skill to have. It makes us more confident. It makes us feel more agile. And also requires great strength on the legs. It requires mobility on the hips and the ankles. So it's a very, very fun and challenging exercise. Probably also very fun for kids. So if your kids are there, just let them join us so we can have some fun together. Okay, let's get started. We will start by sitting in a cross-legged position. So easy cross-legged position. The shins are crossing in front of each other. We will start using the hands a little bit, and then as we progress after the warming up, we won't use the hands anymore. So sitting cross-legged, the shins are crossing in front of each other. We will use the hands to bring the knees to the front, to come into a kneeling position. We call this seiza, so sitting on the toes. If this is too challenging, you can always bring the hands in front of you to ease the pressure. And from seiza, from here, we're going to sit back cross-legged. So we cross the shins, we start with the right shin on top of the left, and we sit back. Again? Okay, so bringing the knees, now without the hands, bringing the knees to the mat, coming into seiza on the toes. We cross the opposite shin, so now it's the left shin on top of the right. At the same time we get a nice massage, and we sit back. So let's do this one more time. Always make sure that you use both legs. So there's a tendency of always crossing the same shin. So let's change. Okay, sitting cross-legged, no hands, coming on the knees, seiza, sitting on the toes. And to go back, we cross one shin on top of the other, getting a nice massage on the calf muscles, and sitting back, cross-legged. Okay, let's add a little bit more. From cross-legged, bringing the knees on the floor, sitting on the heels in seiza, coming up, high kneeling, and the left foot comes on the mat, just staying here, and we reverse. Seiza, high kneeling, seiza, crossing one shin behind the other, and we come to seated. And we do this on the other side. Knees on the mat, seiza, high kneel, right foot in front, and we reverse, high kneeling, crossing the opposite shin on top of the other, sitting back into cross-legged. Okay, this is only the warming up. Let's do a little bit more. Again, from cross-legged, let's bring the knees on the mat, sitting on the heels, coming up on the knees. Now, the left foot on the mat, and we're going to bring the right knee towards the chest, coming up to standing, balance, and we reverse. Right knee on the mat, tucking the toes under, left knee sitting on the heels, crossing the shins, and sitting on the back. Okay, other side, knees on the mat, sitting on the heels, coming high on the knees, and now the right foot comes on the mat. And as we inhale, we stand up, bringing the left knee towards the chest. Nice balance. Controlling the movement, we reverse, bringing the knee on the floor. Both knees together, high kneeling, sitting back, crossing the shin bones, and coming into a cross-legged seated position. Okay, this was one of the options. Another option, as we are sitting cross-legged, let's come again into Seiza. So bringing the knees on the mat, tucking the toes, we are sitting on the heels, and from here we raise the knees, balancing on the balls of the feet, and we just use the strength of the legs to inhale, come to standing. And now we reverse, bending the knees, coming to balance on the balls of the feet. We sit on the heels, bringing the knees on the floor, crossing the shin bones behind, and oops, going to seated, cross-legged. Okay, let's do this one more time. Sitting cross-legged, knees on the mat, coming to sit on the heels. We bring the weight back, raising the knees. Inhaling, we come all the way up to standing, and we reverse, bending the knees, balancing on the balls of the feet. We come to sit on the heels, bringing the knees on the floor. We cross the shin bones behind the legs and come to seated. So always, of course, make sure you're not having any pain on your knees. If there's any pain on your knees, please don't force this position. Okay, another one. So this one is fun, but always make sure that your back is okay, because we're going to roll up and down. So if your floor is too hard, maybe don't do it, or put something underneath, a blanket, so it's cushioning a little bit. And this one doesn't always happen, so let's see. Okay, we bend the knees. We're going first to roll a couple of times, up and down, taking momentum. And whenever we feel ready, without thinking too much, whoops, we just come up. Okay, we do this again, reversing, sitting back, rolling up and down a couple of times. We get also nice massage on the back. Then, oops, okay, standing and coming back to sit. For the next one, it's nice if you have someone in front of you, so you can hold each other's hands, and then help each other to come up. I don't have anyone here, but I'll just imagine I have a friend, I have someone in front of me holding my hands. So you're sitting cross-legged, your shins are across in front of you, in front of each other, Sukhasana, and pressing on the outside of both feet, we just raise up and then slowly sit down. And there's always one side that's easier than the other, so I think this was my easy side. So cross legs, I change the crossing of the shin bones, and let's see what happens on this side. It's probably not going to be this easy, so I don't have anyone to hold my hands, but if you have someone to hold your hands, hold hands, sitting in front of each other, and just whoop, come up. And then sit back, down, and release. And there's one last. If you have a book or a bolster, You can use it to sit on top of it. This one is also nice. You can try without the book or the block, but it's a bit more difficult, so it's nice to have some height under your seat bones. Sitting like in Baddha Konasana, in the cobbler's posture, but with some space between the feet, like one fist space between both feet. So we are pressing on the outside of both feet. Again, it's also very nice to have someone holding your hands, otherwise just come up like this. You can even try walking a little bit on the outside of the feet. That's very nice for ankle flexibility. And then finding your way back to seated. And you can release your block. And this was our practice. You can, to wind down, you can bring your feet on the mat. Let's bend the knees together and hold the opposite elbows underneath the knees, bringing the forehead towards your knees, releasing any tension in your upper back, your lower back. Breathing deeply, finding your way to a calm breath. And probably the heart rate is a bit higher after this going up and down. Inhaling, we come back to the center. I hope you enjoyed this challenge. You can always replay the video again if it was a bit too fast. You can try again, try with your kids, try with your friends, and let me know how it goes. And as usual, thank you so much for being there. Thank you for sharing this practice with me. Have a wonderful weekend, and I see you on Monday. Namaste.